Hello all my subscribers. So as promised, here is my review of Stranger Things Season 4. And just like in the previous video, dressed up as Steve in the family video outfit. It says Steve here on the name tag and got the few buttons, so yeah, I'm Steve from Stranger Things. Probably my favorite season thus far, so let's go ahead and get right on into that. So Stranger Things Season 4, both volumes. So yeah, this season, wow, I think my comparison to another thing I love that happened for the season definitely came true. I called this season Stranger Things Infinity War, with the following season, which will be the last one, Stranger Things Endgame, and gosh dang, this is when shit goes down. There's a major fucking cliffhanger, just where all the characters are thrown in many different directions and so many dark twists and turns. It is very much like what Avengers Infinity War did, and a lot of other classic sequels that really up the ante, like Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, Godfather Part 2, all the many classic sequels that get referenced. And shoot, I think this villain, as he's been established and as we find out in his backstory in this season, I believe he's going to be the Thanos of the series, the main big bad that everything's been leading up to. Everyone else are just the lower tiers, and he is going to be the big one who needs to be brought down, and that is Vecna. But yeah, needless to say, with his telepathic abilities and just overall cold and wow, just complete disregard for human life. Turns out he is the villain who discovered the Upside Down, siphoned its power, and has been controlling everything from the Mind Flayer to the Demogorgons to just about everything you've seen. Similar to how Thanos was the one who had Loki be his second in command with the first Avengers movie, which then led to all the other conflicts with the Infinity Stones throughout the Infinity Saga and the MCU, and with Stranger Things, I believe that's what's happened with the Upside Down. And it's definitely tested all the characters' limits. So I guess I'll go ahead and name off the important characters for this season, because there are some who only get about a couple scenes and aren't the most important, kind of like Mike's mom, Karen Wheeler. So don't think she's really worth mention. Not much really happens of her outside of wanting to keep her kids safe after some crimes being reported in Hawkins, and also her worrying about Mike as he is going on vacation to visit Eleven. So, guys, starting off with big players, there's Eleven, or as she's now called, Jane Hopper, as she took on his name when Hopper adopted her, and also Chief Jim Hopper, except in this season he's in a Russian prison, well, Soviet, because they were the Soviet Union at the time, in 1986 when this takes place. Sheriff Jim Hopper, Joyce Byers, his girlfriend, going to save him, Murray, their conspiracy theorist friend, who's a big part in getting him out of the Soviet Union, along with all the kids from Mike to Dustin, Lucas, Max, and the older ones, Steve, Nancy, Robin, and also Lucas's sister Erica, who's important and is hilarious as hell. She's awesome. I've loved her ever since she got a bigger role in season 3. Anyway, and also the big one who you'll definitely hear me talk about a lot with this season, and that is Eddie Munson. But yeah, Eddie Munson is a senior who is the head of the Hellfire Club, a little D&D group in school that Dustin and Mike are a part of, and Erica subs in for Lucas, because Lucas leaves this season to join with the popular kids, and one of them's the captain of the basketball team, and his name is Jason, and he's an absolute dick. That's all I gotta say about him. He is a complete fucking dick. And let's just say he got what was fucking coming to him at the end of the season. But yeah, his girlfriend Chrissy, who obviously has the big song because Eddie connects with her. Anyway, yeah, Chrissy, we get introduced to her even though she isn't the most prominent of characters, but the little we get definitely gets us to feel for her. Anyway, Chrissy is the head cheerleader, the queen bee of Hawkins High, and yeah, let's just say her and Eddie really connect. I guess they'd known each other before, and Eddie had always loved her, but didn't think he had a shot with her due to him being a metalhead and an outcast and a geek. Boy, can relate to that. Eddie was a close second to what I wanted to wear this Halloween, but couldn't find a wig or really anything, so decided to sell with the next best, most developed character that we'll get into here really soon, that being Steve Harrington. Who I thought he was a complete dick, I'm not gonna lie, during season 1. I did not think I was gonna get to like him like where I am right now, but from season 2 onward, he's definitely developed and definitely become a pretty solid character, so we'll get into that more here in a bit. But yeah, anyway, the villain Vecna uses his telepathic abilities to go deep into the trauma or the uneasy feelings of Chrissy, and he messes with her and tortures her psychologically. And right as she's in Eddie's trailer getting some drugs from him, he ends up, oh boy, one of the most horrific kills in a horror-related property I've seen. And I've seen stuff from Sam Raimi, and that shit gets pretty fucking graphic. He even got away with some of that in the MCU with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that I didn't expect. And there are some Evil Dead references in the season, along with that poster of the Evil Dead that's been referenced a few times, so really like it. Oh, and Nancy gets a shout out too that I'll get into when we get into near the end of the season. Anyway, he like contorts her body and just cracks every piece of it while she's being tortured mentally, and the now infamous song of Eddie yelling, "Chrissy, wake up, I don't like this, Chrissy, wake up." And that comes into play, and Eddie runs as he knows the police are gonna blame him, and he's in no position to defend himself. And then there's also Nancy's co-worker Fred Benson, who gets killed by Vecna in an equally graphic way where he gets tortured by an accident he caused, and some people looking like zombies, like straight up deadites, just come and torture him, and it's fucked up. But anyway, yeah, gosh, frickin' what was I gonna say? Frickin' yeah. And then he kills one of the members of the basketball team when Jason decides to go lead a fucking manhunt against Eddie. He's really gone off the fucking deep end once Chrissy dies. And, yeah. But Lucas, thankfully, does not join in, and he even covers for Eddie and Dustin and everyone when they go looking for him, because that's where Dustin and Steve, Robin, basically everybody who's in Hawkins go to. Because one thing I forgot to mention, this season splits up the kids also. Mike, 11, Will, and Jonathan. Oh, I also forgot to mention Will and Jonathan Byers, Joyce's kids. Anyway, they're in California and travel to Utah because 11 loses her powers and gets sent in by the government agents who go in to save her, like Sam Daniels, and he also reunites with Matthew Modine's Dr. Martin Brenner. But, yeah, and let's just say that also leads to a real gratifying moment with all the many bullies of the show, when Angela, oh god, she is a complete bitch to 11/Jane, and, oh boy, she's lucky she didn't have her powers, because I know 11 was trying to think she could use them on her, but couldn't, and leads to her embarrassing Jane on a date with Mike at the skating rink, and she even tries to take the high road and just get an apology from her, and then she just wasn't having it. Fucking grabs a rollerblade, hits her right in the face, like cuts her face down the middle. Oh boy, I mean, it was graphic, but she had it fucking coming, so yeah. And also, I guess once the government gets trail of it, there's also some a military general who's wanting to go after 11, and it leads to a pretty awesome scene where there's like this slow, chill song. I forget the name of it, but oh gosh, it's all slow and chill. And Argyle, the pizza worker who Jonathan works for at the pizza shop in California, these government agents are tearing house in Joyce Byers' fucking house, and they are just wrecking it up. Bullets are going everywhere, and oh god, freaking Argyle's all just chill like, what's going on, guys? And Mike and Jonathan are all like, get in the fucking car, get it started, we need to get the fuck out of here. And oh god, it is just hilarious and awesome and intense all at once, and definitely needs some moments like that, because this season gets a lot darker and there are few and far between moments that are like that. But yeah, guess the only other notable moment too, I guess we'll move on to, is the iconic, what I just did the dance video to, running up that hill scene where Max is Vecna's next target. But yeah, Max goes to Billy, her deceased stepbrother's grave, and Vecna targets her and raises her up. But right before she does that, on her walk, when she'd been constantly listening to Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill, and it ends up being what allows her to escape Vecna. She temporarily gets away from him, and as the scene is playing out, it's going to Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, and frickin' just a really awesome scene. And I guess Max had been thinking she was resigned to the fact that she was going to die once she had been experiencing similar symptoms to Chrissy, because she witnessed Chrissy when Vecna was initially torturing her. And frickin' she ends up getting out of it and says what she says to Lucas, because her and Lucas had broken up by this point, Lucas being her boyfriend. Anyway, she's like, I'm still here, and oh boy, it just gets real intense, and oh boy, quite emotional. Oh god, this season was it was an emotional roller coaster, that's for sure. Very similar to Avengers Infinity War. It was oh boy, yeah, there were some scenes we probably have some tissues on standby. But yeah, while all that's going on, Steve, Nancy, and Robin are investigating Vecna, or is his real name Victor Creel, or not Victor, Henry. Victor's his dad, Henry Creel, and his backstory as he framed his dad into thinking everyone murdered his family when it was really him, played by Freddy Krueger himself, Robert Englund. And we also find out too that he was the first of the 11 experiments, because 11 is the first in the line of many, and he helped 11 escape initially, only to then betray her during her psychological, her government training, and 11 ends up throwing him into the Upside Down, and when he goes in, that's what transforms him into Vecna, where he then discovers the Mind Flayer, and everything that happened up to this point was set into motion. But yeah, 11 also decides to go back with Dr. Daniels, and actually the machine is what's allowing her to go through her flashbacks in this as she's getting him back. And the military general catches up to him and leads to a real badass moment where 11 dang near has her Jedi / Jean Grey-like moment where the frickin' general is going after her in the helicopter. And Dr. Brenner gets shot trying to save 11 because 11 didn't like her, because the guy's a dick. I mean, he said, I want to experiment on these kids, and he's just, ugh. I mean, he slightly kind of had some hints of redemption, but yeah, no, he's kind of beyond it. But anyway, that's besides the point. But anyway, he gets sniped, and then 11 just, when the military, I think they were aiming at Mike, she just goes ballistic and brings down the helicopter, and yeah, her powers are back and better than ever, which then leads to her going to the employment of Jonathan with Argyle, where she decides to go in, travel through her mind to go help out everyone in Hawkins since she's not near Hawkins, and which then leads to after Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy get trapped in the Upside Down, because Steve discovers a gate, a water gate. God, I love that reference. That was so awesome right there. Anyway, yeah, where Steve, Robin, Nancy, and Eddie are in the Upside Down for a bit, and end up finding Dustin, Erica, where there's this real cool effect where there's the real world and the Upside Down, and they're looking up in this little hole, and they're all climbing in and out, and right before the big finale happens, Vecna gets a hold of Nancy and gives her some visions, and I guess it was just more a taunt than anything, but she gets out of it as Steve witnesses it. And I don't really want to go into detail on this, but some are trying to say Steve and Nancy should get back together. I don't ship them. I want Jonathan and Nancy to stay together. Granted, if Steve and Nancy get back together, it's not going to ruin the series for me or anything. I'll just be deeply disappointed. But, yeah. I just really like the chemistry Jonathan and Nancy have had. So, really hope that sticks around for season 5 and the end of the series. Anyway, that leads to the big finale also, where while all this is going down, Jim Hopper, he's trying to escape the Russian gulag. He almost gets out too, but then he gets recaptured again, which then leads to him fighting the Demogorgon that's in the gulag. Anyway, yeah, Chrissy, we get introduced to her, even though she isn't the most prominent of characters, but the little we get definitely gets us to feel for her. Anyway, Chrissy is the head cheerleader, the queen bee of Hawkins High, and yeah, let's just say her and Eddie really connect. I guess they'd known each other before, and Eddie had always loved her, but didn't think he had a shot with her due to him being a metalhead and an outcast and a geek. Boy, I can relate to that. Eddie was a close second to what I wanted to wear this Halloween, but I couldn't find a wig or really anything, so I decided to settle with the next best, most developed character that we'll get into here really soon, that being Steve Harrington. Who I thought he was a complete dick, I'm not going to lie, during Season 1. I did not think I was going to get to like him like where I am right now, but from Season 2 onward, he's definitely developed and definitely become a pretty solid character, so we'll get into that more here in a bit. But, yeah, anyway, the villain Vecna uses his telepathic abilities to go deep into the trauma or the uneasy feelings of Chrissy, and he messes with her and tortures her psychologically, and right as she's in Eddie's trailer getting some drugs from him, he ends up, oh boy, one of the most horrific kills in a horror-related property I've seen. And I've seen stuff from Sam Raimi, and that shit gets pretty fucking graphic. He even got away with some of that in the MCU with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that I didn't expect. And there are some Evil Dead references in the season, along with that poster of the Evil Dead that's been referenced a few times, so I really like it. Oh, and Nancy gets a shout out too that I'll get into when we get into near the end of the season. Anyway, he contorts her body and just cracks every piece of it while she's being tortured mentally, and the now infamous song of Eddie yelling, "Chrissy, wake up, I don't like this, Chrissy, wake up," and that comes into play, and Eddie runs as he knows the police are gonna blame him, and he's in no position to defend himself. And then there's also Nancy's coworker Fred Benson, who gets killed by Vecna in an equally graphic way where he gets tortured by an accident he caused, and some people looking like zombies, like straight up deadites, just come and torture him, and it's fucked up. But anyway, yeah, gosh, frickin' what was I gonna say? Frickin' yeah. And then he kills one of the members of the basketball team when Jason decides to go lead a fucking manhunt against Eddie. He's really gone off the fucking deep end once Chrissy dies. And, yeah. But Lucas, thankfully, does not join in, and he even covers for Eddie and Dustin and everyone when they go looking for him, because that's where Dustin and Steve, Robin, basically everybody who's in Hawkins go to. Because one thing I forgot to mention, this season splits up the kids also. Mike, 11, Will, and Jonathan. Oh, I also forgot to mention Will and Jonathan Byers, Joyce's kids. Anyway, they're in California and travel to Utah because Eleven loses her powers and gets sent in by the government agents who go in to save her, like Sam Daniels, and he also reunites with Matthew Modine's Dr. Martin Brenner. But yeah, after this, the kids in Hawkins are getting together all the weapons and everything to go take down Vecna. As they find out when he uses his powers, he kind of hooks up to a little hive mind that allows him to mess with his victims and decide to mess with him when he's caught completely off guard. It leads to a real awesome moment where Nancy has a shotgun and she saws off the tip of it. It's very similar to Ash Williams from The Evil Dead. And her reaction is just perfect, where she's like, yeah, it's probably a felony, but we need all the help we can get against Vecna, especially when we don't have 11. Oh gosh. Now this doesn't have to happen, but if in season 5 Bruce Campbell makes an appearance, because Stranger Things knows how to have awesome supporting character castings like Sean Astin in season 2, Carrie Ewis in season 3, and Matthew Modine as Dr. Martin Brenner is pretty cool too. But yeah, if Bruce Campbell is cast in frickin' if he's cast in the frickin' in Stranger Things, and there's like a reference to the boomstick or something from The Evil Dead, oh god, that would just be mwah, chef's kiss. Like, that would be fucking amazing. But yeah, anyway, they're all leading their different points in the plan, where Max is going to draw Vecna's attention, and Eddie and Dustin are going to keep away these little vampire demo bats, I believe what they're called, from attacking in Steve, Nancy, and Robin as they go after Vecna. And while Eleven is trying to telepathically go into the Upside Down to help them out. Which then leads to the awesome climax, kind of similar to Avengers Infinity War, where we're seeing multiple different events play out as they're almost simultaneously happening, like how in that movie Thor was making Stormbreaker, while also the Battle of Wakanda was going down, along with the fight on Titan. So yeah, and with this, it's Hopper trying to escape the Gulag, 11, and Mike and all them trying to help her with that, and everyone in Hawkins and their separate roles taking on Vecna. Edited so well, you see everything going down perfectly. Hopper has his badass moment where he takes down the Demogorgon with a sword, and also the Battle of Vecna was pretty sick too. But before all this goes down, it leads to a pretty awesome remix of Separate Ways by Journey, and really gets the mood going, and oh god, I just love it. I've been jamming out to the past few days. It is quite amazing. And what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, all these going down pretty nice too, and that sets up the mood, and a nice little remix of Running Up That Hill is playing while all these separate battles are going on, and leads to a real awesome moment where Steve, Robin, and Nancy take down Vecna, where Robin lights up a Molotov, and Steve throws it at Vecna, and Robin does it, and Nancy with her sawed-off shotgun fires a few rounds at Vecna, takes him down, right while Vecna's trying to mess with Max, get into her head and fuck with her, while 11 comes in to save her. And also Lucas is watching her as this is all going down, and leads to a real emotional moment where they're connecting, and kind of similar to Captain America when he's all saying, gonna need a rain check on that dance to Peggy Carter. Gosh, Lucas and Max have a similar exchange where they're like, when this is all over, let's go have some pizza or go to dinner next week. Oh boy. which then gets quite emotional, and all this is going down, and Vecna ends up getting Max despite everyone's efforts, and despite Eleven trying to help her. Oh boy, yeah. And while all this is going down too, Eddie gives a heavy metal concert to Metallica's Master of Puppets, which is pretty nice. And because Eddie throughout the season felt like he was a coward and he had always ran away, decides to stick around and ward off the demo bats before they cause any trouble for everyone else. Oh boy, and if the Lucas and Max emotional turmoil wasn't enough, frickin' has to happen at the same time as frickin' Eddie goes back, fights the demo dogs, but like a hero, as he even said before, we're not heroes to Dustin when Steve was saying don't be a hero. He fights them off for as long as he can, but then they get to him and he's down for the count, and you hear Dustin as he's yelling out Eddie, and oh boy, gets quite emotional, and it's comforting him as his last words are, "This is my year," and also saying, "You're gonna have to lead the Hellfire Club now," and even saying, "Don't cry, man." Oh boy. Yeah, oh boy, that hurt. That was a gut punch. But yeah, Max is comatose right now, so her fate we'll find out in the next season. And right after this, the Upside Down goes into Hawkins, like splits it in half with an earthquake, probably the equivalent to the snap in Avengers Infinity War for Stranger Things. Vecna was only temporarily stopped, and he's going to come back and with a vengeance probably. So the emotional moments in this show, they're not over. And what was I going to say? After this, Dustin goes to the community shelter, as all the residents of Hawkins have taken that after the shit going down, visits his uncle, and he says, "Have you seen him?" And he's like, "He died saving everyone in this town, despite everyone hating him and leading a manhunt to get him." Oh god, yeah, that fucking hurt. But yeah, after this, I guess the last things of note, gotta say, Nancy and Jonathan getting back together was real sweet. And we see how that's gonna play out. Everyone's back in Hawkins now, and as we see the Upside Down fully in Hawkins, it's gonna lead into season 5. So yeah, this season, oh boy, was an emotional roller coaster, and got a feeling season 5 will be no different. But nonetheless, it's had everything I've loved about it, and obviously I wouldn't wear this costume if there wasn't anything I didn't love. But yeah, this was oh boy, emotional roller coaster, and many great moments. Most of the characters were handled pretty well. Definitely can't wait to see how this is gonna all wrap up. If you haven't watched it already, highly recommend it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.